Hello again, I'm Steve Kime with the City of Enid. Thank you for joining me today on Ask the Mayor. You may recall last year we had the opportunity to sit down with Mayor Bill Shewey and talk about things that were impacting our great community. Well, he's back in the ETN studios and to participate in Ask the Mayor. So Mayor Bill Shewey, welcome to ETN.
Thank you.
Good to have you. Have a seat. And these aren't the hot seats, okay? You're not on the hot seat today, but thanks for coming back, and we appreciate you joining us on Ask the Mayor. Well, right off the bat, how you been? I only see you, every other day or something like that?
Doing okay.
Good. Well, it's good to see you and appreciate your work as
you.
mayor in our great community. I know you're very involved with OML, the Oklahoma Municipal League, and you go to meetings, Tulsa, Oklahoma City, a variety of communities. When you do the comparison game with what's going on in other communities, Enid's setting pretty, aren't they?
Yes, we are. We have a lot of questions about how we do things in Enid, Oklahoma, and it's fun to answer those questions.
I know we talk about it from time to time because we are aware that not all communities in Oklahoma are this strong economically, and with a new hotel and just everything that's going on. And sometimes we need to leave Garfield County and go east and go south and go other counties and say, wow.
That is right. The OML is the voice for legislation, education, legal problems and things like that for about 550 towns in the state of Oklahoma.
Well, it's good that you always have a good report, and people are asking you, how are you guys doing things? Well, Mayor, right off the bat, water has been a topic. The Call Lake discussion has been in the newspaper, the media, and also radio, and people are talking about, okay, how are we going to sustain our growth, and we need water in our community. There's an engineering group called Garber out of Norman, and right now the commission has asked them to do a study on how much it's going to cost. Is it feasible to run a pipeline from Call Lake over by Ponca City to Enid? And it's kind of premature to talk about it today because the study has not come back to the commission to give you some information. But I can ask you this: why is a pipeline from Call Lake? Why does that seem to be the top consideration versus building a lake or something?
Sure. We had a study done a couple of years ago, and the study revealed that, and we knew all the information from the study. All of our water comes from underground, and basically our water comes from west of Enid. And Enid owns about 150 some wells in the Cleo Springs, Ringwood, Drummond area, and that water is all piped to Enid on a daily basis, and that can run on an average day anywhere between 9 and 12 million gallons of water, and we rely on that. And the study that we had done came up with 3 different lakes that we might have that we would pump water into and or retain the water and then pump it into Enid. But with the drought conditions that we have had in the past and that we will probably have in the future, it was another option was bringing the water from Call Lake, which is over east of Ponca City. Call Lake is owned by the Corps of Engineers, and they sell water. Right now, their primary municipality that they sell water to is Stillwater, Oklahoma. And we have gone back to Call Lake to get a permit to use water from Call Lake, and that permit has been issued, and now it's being considered by Garvin, the engineering company that we have hired to work on the feasibility. We have been working on the financing also. It's very expensive. And
it's not like
Call Lake is a good option because Call Lake's water all comes from 2/3 of the state of Kansas. So it's coming right down from Kansas into Call Lake, and they didn't have a problem when we were going through the last 4 or 5 years of drought.
You know, Mayor, growing up in Perry, Oklahoma, I realized this many, many years ago. It always seemed to rain east of I-35. So being in Perry, which was east of I-35, we would always get a rain shower, and I would come over to Enid with my mom and say, man, it didn't rain over here at all. It's amazing how that corridor, it happens. But you're right, the rain or the watershed, if you will, is in southern Kansas, and which filters on down to Kaw Lake. So it seems to have a lot of consistency in the lake level at Kaw Lake.
Correct.
And it does have some help from the rain east of I-35, but sometimes we lose sight of the fact that a lot of that water from Kansas is draining south.
As we go east from I-35, about every 40 to 50 miles, that annual rainfall decreases, and you can track that over time, and it's very consistent.
Well, Mayor, you and I, we have the opportunity to drive around our community and see work on streets and the highways and also parks and trails that are going on in our community. Can you kind of give us just an overview of what's going on with our city parks and also our trails?
Over the past year and a half to 2 years, we have put about $750,000 into the city parks, updating their equipment and keeping the parks clean. That's one of the problems that we do have right now, is keeping the parks clean. The City Parks and Recreation Department does a lot of cleaning, but we've got to make sure that the public understands that we need to keep them clean and take pride in a clean park instead of leaving trash.
And I appreciate you saying that about taking pride, because I was at a park just here recently and noticed a lot of graffiti had written on the slide areas and stuff like that, and I realize that's just a handful of individuals, but we need that to really come to a halt, because you hate to see a great clean playground area and then all of a sudden when you go up the steps to see the slide and you see some vulgar language and things of that nature.
I agree. But we need to work hard or even harder at keeping them clean and nice, and a lot of education that has to occur.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us on Ask the Mayor. As you recall, we had Commissioner Ron Jansen in the ETN studios the other day and was asking him the identical questions. And our intent again here in 2015 is also to get all the commissioners in and ask them these same identical questions that I'm asking the mayor, to get their input as well.
I didn't answer your question about the trails.
Oh, yes.
One of the things that's happening there is part of our budget process is to look into developing a trail from Meadow Lake Park to the Gate Advanced Air Force Base. That is underway right now. We are about to finish the trail at Crossland Park, and then there's a trail going from downtown Enid on East Broadway. It's under construction right now. It's a smaller trail. It's like a 5-foot, maybe a 6-foot trail, and several blocks of that have already been completed, and there's some areas that require a little more attention. But eventually it will get to 16th Street and then all the way out to University Boulevard. And that will be nice when we get that. And then there's a long-range plan that has about 30 miles of trails.
It would have been a lot simpler if those folks during the land run, right, would have set aside just one day and said, you know what, 100 years down the road, we need some trails in this area.
They wanted a dirt trail.
Yeah, that's true. Well, let's talk about the Enid Comprehensive Plan. Quite a few dollars was spent on this plan, and basically the comprehensive plan, Mayor, is to kind of give us a roadmap, a rudder, or some guidance on areas that we need to address in our community, and it's kind of a 5, 10, 15 year down the road. In the old days, you could have a 20-year plan and work towards that, but in 20 years, that seems like a long time. And so a long-term plan anymore is 5 to 10 years, as quick as that calendar goes. In this comprehensive plan, this impressive document, it talks about big ideas that are designated for the community. Can you share with what some of those big ideas that were identified?
Sure. Number one, and always will be, is water, industrial growth, retail growth, developing downtown, and housing. And those all are being addressed right now, and you will not accomplish all that in 1 year, but it's a goal, or not necessarily a goal, but it's something that you point toward that will improve our community. The industrial growth will bring in jobs, and we need jobs, we need housing, and it's all in the mix of making Enid a better place to live.
This comprehensive plan is available on our website.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to enid.org and just click on the little icon that says comprehensive plan, and then you can read what the mayor is referring to on the big ideas. And within those big ideas, it just really talks about goals or items that have been identified that would enhance our community. But basically, the steps that it takes will get there. And so it's very impressive. So I encourage you to go to enid.org, and you'll see that phrase on the homepage, on the main page. It says comprehensive plan.
If you pull it up, there's a lot of information there.
There is a lot of information.
You won't be able to read it in 15 or 20 minutes. It'd take a long time.
And this was not a weekend assignment for anyone. This was several weeks and went into months to assimilate, to put this plan together. So
it's a good document to have.
Absolutely. It's good roadmap. Well, Mayor, one of my questions that I've been asking the commissioners is, what do you see are the key attractions in Enid that would, get the attention of another industry, saying, we need to look at central part of the United States, northwest Oklahoma. What are some key attractions?
The biggest attraction, obviously, is our workforce. We have a workforce that likes to work, does work, and is very reliable. And our workforce is an excellent start. Also, we have medical facilities here. We have 2 big hospitals. We have a lot of specialty groups in the medical area. We have educational facilities. We have a junior college and a 4-year college, NOC, and Northwestern Oklahoma State University. Legal, we have energy companies here. So we have a diversified base that attracts people to Enid. And we also have a huge retail base. We are a big retail base for Northwest Oklahoma. We are very important to Northwest Oklahoma in the region, and they are very important to Enid also.
Do you find yourself, Mayor, when you go to these meetings across the state of Oklahoma and you talk to individuals and you're saying that Enid is a lot more than wheat fields?
Yes.
Do you ever? I myself, people say, well, you got grain elevators up there. I said, listen, there's a lot more in Enid than wheat fields. Yeah. And it's amazing the people across the state that have their, interpretation or their view of what the Enid community is all about. But it has become this hub in northwest Oklahoma for all of the items that you just mentioned, especially in the medical and the retail world. So it's kind of interesting to share the success story with other people, saying, there's more than wheat fields.
Yeah. We try to impress on people, come to Enid, check us out.
Yeah. Well, speaking of checking us out, thank you for checking us out on Ask the Mayor. We have a few more questions that we'll present to Mayor Bill Shewey in just a moment, but we'll do that right after this break. Thank you for staying with us and joining us today on Ask the Mayor. My special guest, Mayor Bill Shewey, here in Enid, Oklahoma. Mayor, we talked last year about your vision for the community, kind of where you saw Enid headed. So, okay, it's 2015 now. Has your vision changed for the community? Pretty much the same, or
no.
Better thoughts?
No, my thoughts have always been very positive. We need a lot in our mix. We need a lot of different diversification as far as what our services are, as well as what our employment base is. And it all evolves around the things that we do and do right here in Enid, Oklahoma, to make it a better place to live. And I tend to look 10, 15 years down the road. I'll be right on some of them, I'll be wrong on some of them. That's just the way it works.
But it's so important that we're doing something today
Sure.
to put us in a better position down the road.
That is
kind
right.
of deal.
You
So-
have to compete with other cities and other municipalities every day.
Well, we're a day closer, believe it or not. We're a day closer to the Hilton Garden Inn and Hotel in downtown Enid. Mayor, just go down the road, say a year, the hotel's in place, it's open for business. How do you foresee it impacting the downtown and just the Enid community?
Sure. We have a hotel that will help bring people to Enid, and it'll make us a destination point where people can come, stay for a night or maybe 2 nights, and have their meetings, have their conventions, and it'll just make a better stop. You know, we have a lot of people that have statewide conventions, and we will absolutely recruit that type of business to come to Enid, and we can put them all in one area, use the event center, use convention hall, and it'd make a great destination for them to come. One of the groups that we'd like to have back was just here, and that was the American Kite Flyers Association. They use convention hall and the event center, and why not house them right across the street from that? It'll be a good location from us, and I think it'll top out and be a major point of interest in Enid, in downtown Enid. We have a lot of other hotels and motels in Enid, and they will all complement one another. But it'll be be good for our mix in downtown.
One item that I know you're aware of, and studies have shown that when we have an event like Reba comes to town, or any special musical guest comes to town, that the ticket sales, 45% of those ticket sales are from outside of Garfield County. And now you provide an opportunity with the downtown hotel, instead of leaving Enid at 10:30, 11:30 at midnight to go home, you can have that option of spending the night in the hotel.
Walk next door.
Yeah, walk next door and do that. And before you go home on a Saturday after a concert.
And they come and they buy their tickets, but they also spend money when they're here, and that is important to our retailers.
Well, Mayor, one of my final questions for you is, outside of the topic of water, what do you foresee as one of the biggest challenges that Enid faces here in the next 5, 10, 15 years?
Probably the biggest challenge will be our infrastructure, what is basically underground, and the electrical lines above the ground.
Yeah,
the infrastructure will always be that way. Our infrastructure is probably 120 years old, 110 years old, and it will continue to be an item that we have to concentrate on.
I think we were working on, not we, but our city crews were working on a sewer line just recently that was documented to be close to 70 years old, and it's worked for a charm for 70 years. If we could only say that we've worked so well for 70 some years. But you're right. Sometimes we lose sight of that water or that sewer or that utility that comes to us that, wow, that's been in the ground. How long did you say?
I always listen for the "but" word in the sentence, because when you get to the word "but," things have changed or will change.
And it's important to know to our viewers that communities across this country and really across the state, one of the challenges they face is keeping up with infrastructure.
Absolutely.
And it's a big challenge.
But we will have to concentrate on that for now and in the future.
Yeah.
That's highly important, very important.
Well, Mayor, we've run out of time. We've run out of questions, but I want to remind everybody at this time that if you do have a question for the mayor, you can send me an email at asksteve@enid.org. That is asksteve@enid.org, and I'll make sure that we'll get the mayor back in the studio and we'll have him answer those questions. So keep that in mind. You can send us an email at any time, and we'll make sure we'll get the mayor in the hot seat here and get him to answer those questions. Well, Mayor, any closing comments? We've run out of questions.
I enjoy your program. I watch it. I don't watch it faithfully, but I scroll through there and watch, and you do a good job of selling Enid and marketing Enid and making people aware of what's happening in Enid.
Well, it's easy to take an inventory of some of the great things that are going on in our community, so it's real easy to do so. Mayor, it's good seeing you. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
And thank you for being with us today on Ask the Mayor, and I look forward to bringing you another program in the near future that just really highlights our great community. Until that time, make it a great day.